What up, is Mark's Dynasty Football Dads? We are doing ADP battles. Two players really close in average draft position, going head to head. These exact players were taken from the Dynasty Nerds. They did a long video explaining the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different battles that they went through. And I'm going to give my input on the exact battles that they did as well. So they did a podcast not too long ago. We are going to be starting off with their first one that they did, which was wide receiver 17, Terry Mclaurin, versus wide receiver 18, Michael Pittman Jr. Now, if you saw my breakout episode yesterday, you probably have a hint of who I'm taking here. My answer is Michael Pittman, and I understand that Terry Mclaurin, he is a couple years older. He does have now Carson Wentz, the best quarterback that he has had in his entire career, but Michael Pittman now has Matt Ryan. He is the alpha of that offense. You look at talent-wise, I would still slightly lean Michael Pittman's way. I know that Terry McLaurin is an excellent route runner, and he is actually a very talented wide receiver, but I look at Jahan Dotson, who's a talented wide receiver. I look at Curtis Samuel. I look at J.D. McKissick. There's more mouths to feed. You have Jonathan Taylor, and you have Michael Pittman Jr., and that is pretty much what you have in the Colts offense. So I am taking wide receiver 18, Michael Pittman Jr., over Terry McLaurin if it was a heads-to-head battle here. And I think I've done that I feel like I've done that in a startup as well. The next one, and this is actually one of the easiest ones in my opinion right now, it's running back 16, J.K. Dobbins, versus running back 18, Travis Etienne. And so they're both players that did not even play last year, so it's kind of nice to have them battle each other. And really, realistically, if you want to add Cam Akers in there as well, he would be the third of the three. I have him last of the three here. But this is J.K. Dobbins here for me. J.K. Dobbins is a slightly better prospect, more talented, and when it comes to the Jaguars, their offense is, I think, going to be a weaker offense. You also look at James Robinson versus Gus Edwards. I think James Robinson is a more challenging. I think he's going to put more threat onto Travis Etienne than I think Gus Edwards is going to J.K. Dobbins. They planned on, when Mark Ingram was getting towards the end of his shelf life, they put in J.K. Dobbins at that week 8-9 mark into that 2020 season. And so they wanted J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins actually performed as a running back one at that end half of his rookie year. So J.K. Dobbins here, Travis Etienne, we haven't seen it before. We don't know what that translates into the next level here. We know he has the same quarterback, but that's about it. And so I'm going to take J.K. Dobbins here. Tight end, this is a very tough one. Tight end 9, Pat Freiermuth versus tight end 8, Dallas Goddard. Now, I understand there's a ton of touchdowns that Pat Freiermuth had his rookie year that kind of escalated his fantasy numbers. Pat Freiermuth is an excellent blocking tight end. He's an excellent overall tight end, but he's been a touchdown maker even in Penn State as well. So Dallas Goddard, he's getting towards that point of this is the make or break. Not the make or break, but he has A.J. Brown, he has Devontae Smith, and he has a quarterback that can basically supply 3 weapons. And so I'm going to go with Pat Freiermuth. I think by the time that Dallas Goddard gets into fantasy relevance, he might be 29, 30 years old. I feel like we're always waiting on Dallas Goddard. We're always waiting for the next thing. And it's just I like him. I think he's going to be a low-end tight end 1, but the Pat Freiermuth could be the tight end 5, and he could be the player that we've been waiting for instead of T.J. Hawkinson. It's like the Jedi that we've been waiting for. It wasn't Anakin. It was Luke Skywalker. Well, you can say maybe it wasn't even Luke. It was probably Rey. And so here, maybe the savior for the tight end class wasn't the T.J. Hawkinson, Noah Fant. It could have been the Kyle Pitts and Pat Freiermuth class, which Kyle Pitts is already amazing. He is the savior of the tight end class. But Pat Freiermuth is a very, 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 very good tight end. He's just being overshadowed because Kyle Pitts has been so amazing his rookie year. Anyways, the next run, I think this is an easy one. So you have running back 13, Saquon Barkley, running back 11, Alvinkumar. Alvinkumar was somebody I sold a ton the beginning part of last year. I understand he still had a good year, but then now you have this issue where he might get suspended. And I think Alvinkumar is going to be one of the running backs that falls off the most. I understand that when he's on the field, he still looks very, very talented. And when you have no other weapons, that it seems like they're going to be basically revolving their offense around him and Chris Olave. Maybe Michael Thomas is there, but I am taking Saquon Barkley. I understand the injuries, but I believe that Saquon Barkley is going to have the jump. I think he's going to get back into at least RB2, high RB2 territory. I actually really like Saquon for this year. I think that the Giants are going to utilize him a ton, and I think they have to. They really have to. They have no other choice with that offense. They're going to have to run the ball a ton. And Saquon Barkley, who I understand his stats, there is some yucky parts to his stats, like yards per carry and everything like that. There are some things that aren't great. And I feel like he is ultra talented. Like Saquon Barkley was supposed to be the generational talent. And in fact, if you remember the rookie drafts 101, Saquon Barkley, it was like you could not get that pick to save your life. I remember there were teams trading CMC at the time where CMC was the stud. They were trading CMC packages to get Saquon Barkley. It was Saquon 101 and it was CMC 102. It was in that running back position. And so Saquon has had a little fall from grace here. But at RB13, I'm taking him over the very risky and potentially probably suspended Alvinkumar here. Next one, we have Allen Robinson and Brandon Cooks, 44 and 45. I'm actually going to take wide receiver 45. I'm going to take the lower ranked one. I'm going to take Brandon Cooks. Guarantee myself 1,000 yards. Guarantee myself basically 1,006. It seems like that's the way it is. I understand Davis Mills is not as good of a quarterback as Matthew Stafford, but I am taking the alpha versus the beta. The clear beta, you have Cooper Kupp, and then you have he's number one. He's number one on their team. And then number two on their team is also Cooper Kupp. And then number three on their team is also Cooper Kupp. And then number four, you're going to get this little spread of Van Jefferson and Allen Robinson here. And so with that being said, I am taking Cooper Kupp. I'm taking Cooper Kupp. Yeah, I'm taking Brandon Cooks clearly over Allen Robinson. And we don't even know if Allen Robinson, he could have a really boom year. But he also could have shown what he showed in Chicago, where it could be the Julio route, where Julio goes to Tennessee and then doesn't do much and ends up fading into disappearing land. And then Allen Robinson could be the next one. Or he could follow the AJ Green route, could follow into that disappearing magic realm. We got two more to go. CMC, running back 4. We talked about him just briefly a little bit ago. And then we have running back 5, DeAndre Swift. This is tough because if you're in contender mode and this is your year, CMC is an excellent pick. But overall in Dynasty, I have CMC behind DeAndre Swift, which, if you're new to the channel, DeAndre Swift, we're giving that jersey. Sorry, I threw that a little hard. I've had it in my possession for too long. Let's get those subscribers up so we can give that away. So, DeAndre Swift, I am taking in almost every situation over CMC, besides if I have the ultimate, old team. Let's say I have Derrick Henry, Aaron Rodgers, let's say Cooper Kupp and Travis Kelce, and I am going all in for this year and understanding the consequences that 2023 and 2024 are going to be rough because they all are going to fall off the cliff here soon, and you just want CMC to fall off with you and go for it this year, then go for it this year, but I'm taking DeAndre Swift. The last one, we have Mike Gesicki and Cole Kmet. This is a difficult one because Mike Gesicki is one of my favorite tight ends coming into the league, and now you have Tyreek Hill, and you have Jalen Waddle, and you have Tua, who, again, is kind of like Jalen Hurts, where we don't even know if he can supply 3 types of players. And then Gesicki thinks he's a slot wide receiver, which he kind of is. But then you have Cole Kmet, who I think is one of the most underrated tight ends. He's tight end 13, which means he's been slowly moving up. And no Jimmy Graham. They have no other options. And they also have Justin Fields, who I think is going to go to Mooney and Kmet. I'm going to take Kmet. I'm going to take him because I think Gesicki, you're talking about a couple of years older, and I understand the profile of talent is going to go to Gesicki's side. But I'm just going to take Cole Kmet, a tiny little squeak right over Gesicki. It is a super close one. That is one of the closest ones that I thought. Honestly, I'm okay with either one of them into this. If I'm taking the 12-13 tight end off the board, at this point, I'm taking Kmet because he's 2 tight ends lower, and I'm probably going to have him more. But if it's head-to-head, I'm just taking whoever I can get at tight end 13, whether it's him or Gesicki, over an Irv Smith or something like that. So I'm taking that. So again, this is Marcus Dynasty Dads. Peace out. Happy Wednesday. We will see you tomorrow.